Well, hey everyone, I'm here with singer-songwriter, worship leader Casey Darnell from North Point Church in Atlanta, Georgia. And man, really excited to have you here on the blog today. Been a big fan of your music, so thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. This is great.
So tell us a little bit about this project. I know I was first introduced to your music through Elevation Church. I'm a big fan of those guys, and so they pimped your EP that you came out a while back, and I picked that up, man, and I wore that thing out, seriously, man. Just played it over and over, and loved the tunes. So when I heard that you were recording, a full length project with a lot of the same tunes, I was super pumped. I think these songs are just fantastic for corporate worship and just for personal encouragement as well. But kind of share your heart behind the project and just about yourself a little bit.
And well, first, that's really encouraging, and I love the guys at Elevation. Those are some lifelong friends that I have there, and they've been really encouraging to me and let me be a part of what God's doing there, which is just off the hook.
Yeah.
Can I say awesome? It's awesome. And man, for this project really was kind of the completion of the EP that you mentioned that came out May of 2010, and man, those were songs that began kind of in a heavier place in my life, and I wasn't really trying to record a record and wasn't thinking about writing songs. I was just doing what I normally do, and just through some heavy things in life, through some loss that my wife and I experienced, through just a valley that we were kind of going through in our lives, and these songs kind of started happening as reading scripture and it was leading, just started seeing some things birth in my heart. And when you're a songwriter, that's kind of the place you go. And so that's what I started doing. And then around that Christmas time, that EP started happening and coming together. So that started that. But at the time, I didn't have really honestly just enough money to do a full record or maybe all the right songs. I wasn't totally sure. And that started taking place with North Point Music, kind of taking me on the label. And then all these songs that I had over the last year, man, just some ideas started growing from just leading worship and really wanting to see life that comes from the death or the end of something. And for us, it was a dream having a second child. And as the story goes, we walked through a valley there, and but God has just showed us his faithfulness.
Yeah.
And this record is really just about his faithfulness and that whole coming alive idea of seeing that not just happen in my life and in my family's life, but in students' lives and in the places that I'm leading. And that's what these songs really started to kind of focus themselves towards, is the unending faithfulness of God no matter what it is. Here's the truth of God matched against whatever our situation is. And what we find is these situations change, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
And so that's where these songs started birthing themselves into, and then got to record it because somebody else believed in me, and there you go.
Well, talk to us a little bit about the North Point music label that you're on. What is that, and what can we expect from that, just as a community of worship leaders? And talk about that.
Man, it began several years ago, and it's something that North Point's been growing steadily and very patiently, I think is the right word. Just they say steady plodding. We're not out trying to be a flash in the pan real quick and go, here's all of our music, here's what we do at North Point.
Yeah.
Trying to just blitz the scene. We're just wanting to groom worship leaders and grow families, people that have a heart for this, and kind of see as they develop and what God's doing, and then go, hey, here's an opportunity to take what God's given you, and maybe you can't afford to do it the right way. We want to help you with that, and here's some influences we have, and we want to help you with that, and kind of marry this relationship together. But we care about you as an artist, and we care about your family, and we don't want you to just become an artist who goes and burns himself out and then no one ever hears from him again.
Yeah,
so it's a family type thing, and it's something that is one of the first label interests I was ever interested in entertaining.
Yeah.
Because of their heart for the church, the worldwide capital C church.
Yeah.
But our success at the end of the day, I remember them saying this to me, is, if you're married to one person, you stayed faithful to this wife of yours, and you have been a father to your children, and you are plugged into your home church, and you're healthy and you're balanced in your life, it's not about me hitting the road and burning myself out, and I come home to a home in shambles.
Yeah.
That's a win for us. Even if it's 10 number one hits and my family's falling apart, that's not a win. That's not success. And so I really feel believed in and cared for there in a way that it's rare to hear about it these days.
I love that, man. Because like as worship leaders in the local church, those of us who are, who lead every week, we can sort of idolize touring, and being out on the road and sort of that like rock star, superstar worship leader mentality. But it's really not about that. It is about like, your family and how you're doing as a dad, and your personal life and your personal journey with God. And that's so encouraging to hear that you guys are doing that. So
that's their thing, and it's growing. Yeah. There's a few of us now that are signed on to it. I think there's about maybe 5 artists on it, and it's a growing thing that they are being very patient with and making wise choices about, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Cool. Well, one more question I have. What was that?
I was going to say, this record is my first North Point Music project.
Yeah.
And I think it's like their 3rd or 4th. We've got a few live records. Todd Fields has got a record. Cool. There's a few other guys on our label that are coming out with records. So just to clarify.
Awesome, man. So I just have like one more question for you. Just what kind of advice would you have just for worship leaders? There's a lot of worship leaders that read this blog, just a cool little community. So what would you say to them here in this interview? Your best of advice from Casey Darnell.
Advice is only matters if somebody's asking. So, it's hard to just pull something out of the air. But I think a lot of questions I've been asked is how did you get to where you're at, or how did you, start getting into worship leading and all this. And man, for me, it didn't begin on the stage. And I think I read it on Twitter, oddly enough, the other day. Somebody said, maybe it was Zig Ziglar or something, success is measured by, starts at home, not on the stage, or something like that. I remember reading that the other day and just thinking that's so true. And for me, it began by being mentored and discipled, and having a lot of people in the closets and in the quiet places of my life who are always speaking into my life. And there's very little that I'm doing out on a public forum that hasn't first been handled and cultured and grown privately. And my biggest fans are my wife and my daughter, and I need that to be that way. And so I really want, to see a worship leader culture grow where it's where you can't measure what is happening necessarily. It's, look at that guy, he's got all these great songs. It's all the unseen things. And I want, worship leaders to think we need to be known for that. And then we need to be measured by that. And that's hard to measure. It's hard to be able to tell. A lot of times it may be a worship leader needing to say, no, this is not the most important event in my life. I need to say no to this so I can say yes to my family or yes to my church. And being poured into your church, being plugged in. There are a lot of things that I say no to so that I can just be home, because that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a rise and a temptation, I think, as the worship fame of this whole idea of a worship leader. It wasn't that way when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I wasn't a cool person on stage. It was like, oh, look at him, he plays guitar, I want to be like him.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to do that. I wanted to do other things.
Yeah.
And so I think as this culture grows, it's not about how cool you look. Can you comb your hair the right way? Can you wear the clothes and look the part?
Yeah.
We need more guys who are less concerned about looking the part and more concerned about following the heart of God for his people and for the family that he has maybe given them. And then let the overflow that you get, the opportunities you get, be based on that foundation, because that's something that will last, I think, a little longer. And that's my heart for me and personally, and then maybe that'll be for somebody else.
Awesome. Love it, man. Well, thanks for sharing your heart, Casey. And for those of you who are watching this, be sure to stop by Casey's website. I actually just noticed on there that you can, am I right, you can download When the Waters Rise for free, correct?
Yeah, we have it on there. And I think you can get a chord chart for it for free. And we're going to have chord charts coming up for all the record, all the tracks that we used on the record. You'll be able to download those and do the songs a little similarly and with click tracks and all. But definitely chord charts will be coming, and it's all in the works. So
cool, awesome. So thanks, man. Thanks for being here today, and look forward to future songs and records from you, man. Awesome stuff.
David, thanks for having me. This has been awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.